Guys, welcome back to another video. I got my boy Stu in the house. Known Stu since 2016. I'm glad to have him on.
Yeah, man.
Thanks for coming by.
No problem, bro.
And I'm going to ask you a few questions just to get it started. Like our political climate has been really bad recently. And we always talk about this all the time wherever we go out to the bar and stuff. What do you think about our free speech right now? What's going on with it?
Oof. I don't know. I think that's a touchy subject, and I even think it kind of just depends on I guess what side you guess you call yourself on. But I think a lot of the people don't realize now is that our free speech is, while they think that they're trying to push across their agenda and stuff, don't think they realize that they're actually hurting their own free speech, because they don't really see that while they're pushing these other things that they think are going to be beneficial, and stuff, and even when they're coming back with even like the different type of movements and stuff that have been out there and how they've affected things.
Mm-hmm.
I think the biggest thing with it is, bro, fuck that. I think the biggest thing is they just don't realize the ramifications of what's gonna happen. As far as social media and stuff, when you see the free speech and then all these platforms and
then
stuff,
they just X everybody out. It's
dude,
crazy,
I mean, how many times have you been fact checked or things get yanked and stuff? But you see other certain things that are not factual and stuff, but they're not being fact checked.
Well, look at YouTube. YouTube on I post to, they delete any kind of video that they don't like.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I mean, it goes back to and even big channels and stuff that don't necessarily align with YouTube's values and stuff. You see that a lot too, with just how the Milk Boys being one of them. Who they push that agenda, but. I don't think people realize that we don't really have full freedom of speech. There's not a true platform out there even that you can actually truly voice your opinion, and and it goes to both sides. Where you're not going to get either a bash for it or censored for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right, man. I like that. So another question that links to that is, how you get people who they watch the news every day, they follow all the news articles, and then whenever you talk to them, they just reverberate everything that the news said. What do you think about the news, somewhat controlling people and putting them into a tunnel? They put you into a tunnel and they want you to think a certain way.
Well, see, I think that goes more on people themselves. I think the problem is how people, we've gone really far away from a society that can agree to disagree. It's everybody has to agree on something. It's how come we can't have intelligent conversations with people and have debates on different standpoints, and it not necessarily lead to an argument or well, you don't like me for this. I think that's
I'm offended.
Yeah, and I think that more or less comes from people, and the media is definitely a big part of that, though, with the way that they portray things and how the media only you see it with the narratives that they play, and you only see a one-way narrative and stuff. The media doesn't necessarily portraying even news nowadays. I mean, with the celebrities and the people, the influencers that are out there, I mean, half of the stuff that they report on is not even news. I mean, it's BS. And then you get these people who find these, these journalists or these websites or whatever, that they stick to this one opinion or something, and, it's fine to have your own opinion and your belief, but, at least be, able to have an intelligent discussion and argue it. And, at the end of the day, also be, mature enough to know that, hey, people aren't always going to agree with it. We can just agree to disagree.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to start this podcast too, man. I want to have different people on here. I want to debate stuff. I want to not necessarily even find a common ground, to just talk about stuff and just debate and bounce each other's ideas off. I mean, I like that a lot. Let's see. So we survived Hurricane Ian. You know that, right? What do you think's going to happen? Because I kind of seen it as they wiped out all the small businesses on the beach, and then it's going to be all corporate. What do you think about that? In the play on what's going to happen after the rebuilding?
It's definitely rough for Fort Myers Beach. I mean, you just see it now. I mean, I've been here for 12 years, and there's stuff now. The Hooters on Fort Myers Beach. How many times we've been there and stuff, and it's just it's gone, and stuff places like that, you can't rebuild that, and I think the biggest thing I'm worried about, is, corporate places buying it out and it just becoming a lot of hotels, and, not a lot of the, it was already kind of more getting, that way with, the tourism and stuff, with them just kind of mass buying out, and Margaritaville kind of sliding in there and, building in, and, I definitely think we have a long time for it to be even somewhat normal. I mean, we're almost a month out from Hurricane Ian, and I was just down there, and
It's still bad,
it's
man.
devastating. I mean, there's people who are still living in campers in their front yard while they're gutting their houses, day in and day out. And you feel for those people because they're just trying to figure out like how can they restart and where do they even begin?
Yeah. And then another question, you know how like things have been going so shitty, like inflation, we got this hurricane, just the political climate's kind of off. Where do you see things going? The housing market's insane. Nobody could afford anything. It's like over $2,000 to get a stupid apartment in Southwest Florida. Like, where do you see this going? Do you see any change? Do you think it's going to get worse? Like what?
I don't know. See, I think that's a tough one to even like have say. I mean, I don't know. You can go and compare it to the 2008 market crisis all you want, but I think we're in kind of a different age. As far as like cryptocurrencies and the different ways that people can social media being a big influence with people, how people can make money and not necessarily have traditional jobs and stuff. I don't know. It's really tough to say with how it's gonna pan out, and it also depends on office and stuff. We're seeing right now down here just $3.50 for a gallon of gas and stuff, and that right now is considered like good.
Yeah.
We were up to $4.50 and $5, and when you think about it, just a couple years ago, you can get a gallon of gas for $2. So it's, I don't know. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to get any better. I don't think we're going to see any type of downfall. I do think inflation is going to kind of rise until we kind of hit a peak, and I think eventually at some point it's going to end up popping, and you're gonna be able to get that 5-acre 3-bedroom 2-bath farmhouse for $100,000.
For sure, man. Well, I appreciate you being on my podcast, man. I wanted to let you know I look up to you. You're a smart man. You're a great salesman, and I want to get like you, man. And I want to have you on the show again. I appreciate you being here, man.
Yeah, no problem, bro. Hey, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, for sure. See you guys. Have a good night, and gonna be having some new guests coming in.